Well, hello and welcome. My name is Rob Finlay and I'm the Head of Digital Innovation for AWS across Australia and New Zealand. In today's presentation, I'll explain how Amazon invents and develops new customer-centric products, services and experiences, and detail the various mechanisms and artifacts we produce to help drive ideas forward. Our mission at Amazon is to be Earth's most customer-centric company. This is deliberately broad, meaning it does not restrict the domains or market segments we enter. This mission is not defined by an industry or a particular geography or technology. We aim to be a customer-centric company, and that can take many forms. And notice this says nothing about selling books or e-commerce. While this mission is broad, it is also specific. It helps us make decisions. Often the tie-breaking question in a decision is this customer obsessed? What is the best thing that we can do for our customer? At Amazon, we hold ourselves and each other accountable for demonstrating these 16 leadership principles through our actions every day. These leadership principles describe how Amazon does business, how leaders lead, and how we keep the customer at the center of our decisions. This slide shows the headlines of these leadership principles, and each has a few sentences of descriptive text accompanying them, which you can read by going to the link shown here. Our leadership principles start with customer obsession, but there is no hierarchy or order to them. You might notice that there's some tension between principles. Taking the time to dive deep could slow down having a bias for action. How do you simultaneously dive deep into the data, but also think really big? And we even have a principle about disagreeing and committing. Our leadership principles are not meant to be harmonious. They're meant to be used together to help us make faster, high-quality decisions. You'll also notice that we say these are our leadership principles unless you know better ones. Our LPs have remained consistent over time, but they aren't set in stone. They have changed over time as the company has grown and have been added to over time. We also have a philosophy that everyone in the company is a leader on our mission. And part of that leadership is using these principles every day to help us make better decisions in helping our customers. We use our leadership principles pervasively. We use them in our hiring decisions, in discussing the examples that candidates relate to us in interviews. They're used to frame the feedback we give each other as peers, and in growth and development conversations between managers and employees. They're a very common vernacular that we really do use every day. Our first leadership principle, customer obsession, personifies our approach to developing new products, services, and experiences. Leaders start with the customer and work backwards. They work vigorously to earn and keep customer trust. Although leaders pay attention to competitors, they obsess over customers. And that's what we're doing today. We're starting with the customer and we're working backwards. We begin by diving deep to understand customers, what they need or want, where they have frustration or pain in their life. And working backwards from those customer needs helps us invent ways to surprise and delight our customers. It's not only about being close to customers and asking them what they want, but deeply understanding their situation and context so we can invent on their behalf. There are many viable approaches to how you center a business. You can focus on competitors, invent new technologies, innovate around business models, and many other approaches. At Amazon, we've chosen to center our approach around obsessive customer focus. The hallmark mechanism we have to consistently drive customer-centric innovative thinking and execution is the working backwards mechanism. Every customer-facing product, service, or experience developed across Amazon has been developed by working backwards. We use this mechanism to make sure that we are building the right thing for customers and that we are customer obsessed from the very beginning of any idea. The output of this working backwards process is a document commonly referred to as a PRFAQ. This document includes 3 distinct parts: a press release, frequently asked questions, and visuals. Why is the working backwards process critical to our mission? Well, here is a video from an Amazon all-hands meeting where Jeff Bezos was asked about working backwards. He concisely describes the working backwards process and its benefits.
Is the working backwards process optional? It sounds great, but it seems like a lot of work. Oh boy, how do we begin? The working backwards process should not be optional unless you know a better way. And you shouldn't know a better way until you've tried the working backwards process several times. The working backwards process really does work. And this particular thing here, it sounds great, but it seems like a lot of work. Done correctly, the working backwards process is a huge amount of work. But it saves you even more work later. The working backwards process is not designed to be easy. It's designed to save huge amounts of work on the back end and to make sure that we're actually building the right thing. What so many companies do is they write the software. That's a lot of work. They get it all working, and then they throw it over the wall to the marketing department and say, okay, here's what we built. Write the press release for it. That process is the one that's actually backwards.
So, to repeat what Jeff said, the working backwards process is not designed to be easy. It's designed to save huge amounts of work on the back end and to make sure we're actually building the right thing. Working backwards ensures we always put our customers and their needs first. Starting with the customer and working backwards has led Amazon into a very broad range of business market segments. We started with e-commerce retail, first with books, moving into DVDs and CDs, and then expanding into multiple product categories globally. We have over 200 tools and services across AWS to leverage the cloud for compute, storage, AI/ML, analytics, and much more. We have a hardware devices business in Kindle, Echo, Alexa, Fire TV, and home security devices. We enable streaming content with Amazon Video, Amazon Studios, and Twitch. We're in consumables with food and grocery retail, Whole Foods, and services like Amazon Fresh. And we're in physical retail with Amazon Go. It's a wide range of businesses that makes you wonder why and how Amazon got involved and how we manage such a disparate business. The answer, of course, ties back to innovating on behalf of customers, no matter what their needs are. The common thread across all these businesses was a need or a pain point our customers were having in their lives, and us working backwards to invent on their behalf, even in areas that weren't at that time outside the scope of our core business. Amazon Go is a great example. The origin of that entire business wasn't around getting into the physical grocery space. It was simply trying to address a shared customer problem. Is there a way to remove the need of having to wait in line to check out? And we'll go into Amazon Go more later on. As Jeff describes it, there are many advantages to a customer-centric approach, but here's the big one. Customers are always beautifully, wonderfully dissatisfied, even when they report being happy and business is great. Even when they don't know it, customers want something better, and your desire to delight customers will drive you to invent on their behalf. Now, as we go through the working backwards process, we challenge ourselves to answer 5 customer questions. Number 1, who is the customer and what insights do we have about them? Number 2, what's the prevailing customer problem or opportunity? Number 3, what is the solution and the most important customer benefit? Number 4, how do we describe the solution and the experience to customers? And lastly, how do we test the solution with customers and measure success? These questions are deceptively simple. You could spend 5 minutes or 5 months to answer these. And we teach Amazonians to wrestle with these questions as they start thinking about new ideas. But using these questions helps to refine your thinking and approach, and it helps you to prepare to start work on your press release. Let's experiment here with question number 1. This woman is commuting maybe on a bus or a train. What's her context, her situation? Ask yourself, how does the time, place, and situation a customer is in affect their needs? Recognize there may be times customers don't want to use their voice to interact or may not have connectivity. This context could be an opportunity to get things done on her phone. Is our customer a student, an office worker, a small business owner? Is our customer the parent or child in a young family? What are their unique problems to solve or desires for better solutions? Perhaps our customer is actually a worker in the fulfillment center in Amazon itself. What value are you generating for your internal teams? And what value is passed on to the end customer? What about cultural differences? How will that influence your understanding of your customer? This spectrum of customer needs will be different, even if the features of your solution are the same. In your efforts to understand who is your customer, be precise. Use data. Bring user stories. Ask customers directly. So number 2, what's the prevailing customer problem or opportunity? Here's a template, one of many that we use to describe the customer problem or opportunity at hand. We call it the today statement. As an example, we might express the customer problem in this way. Today, busy on-the-go, tech-savvy urban dwellers have to fight crowds and wait in long lines when they simply want to grab only a few things at the corner convenience store while on the go during a busy day. customers need to find a way to get in and out of the store quickly. Then we often frame the challenge as how might we question. It's important to right-size the question so that it creates the perfect space for innovative thinking. You'll notice here we prioritise the much bigger question or opportunity. The solution that emerged in this case was Amazon Go, our growing platform for cashierless retail. You enter the store by scanning your smartphone app, and you take whatever you want and just put it in your bag. When you're ready to go, you just walk out. The items you take are automatically charged to your account and appear in your smartphone app. The most important customer benefit here, there's no lines, there's no checkout. Let's take a closer look.
4 years ago, we started to wonder, what would shopping look like if you could walk into a store, grab what you want, and just go? What if we could weave the most advanced machine learning, computer vision, and AI into the very fabric of a store so you never have to wait in line? No lines, no checkouts, no registers. Welcome to Amazon Go. Use the Amazon Go app to enter. Then put away your phone and start shopping. It's really that simple. Take whatever you like. Anything you pick up is automatically added to your virtual cart. If you change your mind about that cupcake, just put it back. Our technology will update your virtual cart automatically. So, how does it work? We used computer vision, deep learning algorithms, and sensor fusion, much like you'd find in self-driving cars. We call it Just Walk Out technology. Once you've got everything you want, you can just go. When you leave, our Just Walk Out technology adds up your virtual cart and charges your Amazon account. Your receipt is sent straight to the app, and you can keep going. Amazon Go. No lines, no checkout. No, seriously.
Let's look at the specific steps in the working backwards mechanism to answer the 5 working backwards questions. The stages of the working backwards process are, number 1, listen to customers, hear their voice, and understand their needs. Number 2, define a specific customer problem or opportunity. Number 3, invent a solution to address the customer problem or opportunity. Number 4, refine the solution through a working backwards document like a peer FAQ. And crucially, number 5, test and iterate with customers as we prepare to launch at scale. Every customer-facing product or service developed across Amazon uses the working backwards process. We use this mechanism to make sure that we are building the right thing for customers and that we're customer obsessed from the very beginning of any idea. Typically at Amazon, answering these questions can be done by any team member or any team. The working backwards mechanism is deliberately simple in its format to allow any Amazonian to develop new products, services, and experiences at speed with the tools and teams around them. Additionally, this is a mechanism that AWS can offer to facilitate for you to solve your own customer problems in your business. Many AWS working backwards engagements tackle potential problems that your customers have and result in the form of multiple collaborative workshops facilitated by a specialist or certified teams. We work through these stages together with you and bring in specialists to help us define and build solutions. Now that definition and solution is articulated in a peer FAQ, a press release, and FAQs. The end goal is not to create the final document as such. That's just an output of this process. The peer FAQ is used as a conversation starter. The first draft is never perfect, not even close, but it allows the team to have a starting point. With every iteration or review, the document becomes clearer and more refined, and the idea and the intended benefits to the customer much stronger. We discuss, debate, ask questions. How else can we do this? Should this idea be bigger? What is the right solution? It's through this iteration that we achieve clarity and focus, and we make sure we build the right thing for customers. Let's go into some detail on the peer FAQ and the visuals. The press release is a one-page narrative describing a new product, service, or experience using customer-centric language. With the press release, we leap into the future and imagine how a customer feels and what they may say about a new idea before writing a single line of code. Limiting the press release to just one page forces us to be crisp around how we describe the launch of this new product. Along with the press release, we include frequently asked questions. While the PR is one page, the FAQs can be 5 pages or more. This is where we dive into the details of the proposed product or service. And we often include 2 types of FAQs, customer FAQs and internal FAQs. Typical customer questions could be, how much does it cost? Or what happens if it breaks? Typical internal questions could be, what differentiates this from other solutions? Or which AWS services will be used to build this solution? Visuals are the third part of a working backwards document and exist to communicate the customer experience where words cannot. This practice doesn't require being a great designer. A helpful axiom for this is the fidelity of the visuals should match the maturity of the idea. And this means that early on, when an idea is rough, the visuals should also be rough. A photo of a sketch on a whiteboard may be all we need at the starting point. As we clarify thinking and flesh out details in the press release and FAQs, the fidelity of the visuals should improve to include wireframes, technology, architecture diagrams, storyboards, and so on. Let me show you exactly what a press release might look like and where it leads. Remember, the press release asks us to leap into the future and imagine what a customer might say about our idea on launch. It's very important to ensure that when we write a press release, we imagine that our customers are going to read it. This means that we need to avoid complicated jargon and deep industry language and acronyms that our customers won't understand. We want the structure and narrative of the press release to be easy to follow and to speak simply and clearly. Here's an example of what I mean. On the left-hand side here is a sentence that we would consider to be not customer-centric at all. It's complicated and it's hard to understand what it's really saying. On the right is a simple explanation of the same concept, something that most people outside our organisation can understand. We make sure to keep our language familiar, understandable and accessible. As I mentioned before, the PRFAQ is not the final resolved outcome. It's used as a conversation starter and drives us towards a series of experiments and prototypes that help us quickly test and validate an idea before we commit large numbers of people and resources. Now, some of you might recognise this as the first prototype of the computer mouse built by Xerox PARC. Like the visuals, the fidelity of the prototype reflects the maturity of the idea. It gets us started on the journey of refinement. Amazon Go had the same starting points too. You can see here the scrappy diagrams and prototypes purely focused on gaining data points and answers in the experiments we needed to run in order to validate and steer the Amazon Go concept. Rough drawings, blocks on a table, cheap materials and secondhand items to test an in-store user experience. All these have been developed at dramatic speed and with very pragmatic frugality. And as the experiments and prototypes increased and the concept was refined and developed, so the quality of the execution and focus on a great customer experience increased to ultimately the launch of this first Amazon Go store, now one of many across the US and Europe. Indeed, the smaller Amazon Go convenience store was in itself a prototype of a much larger Amazon Fresh supermarket store format, now integrated with Just Walk Out and smart technology and Amazon Alexa on hand to assist. Amazon Go is a great example of the working backwards mechanism in action here at Amazon, and laser focused on the customer experience, driven by experimentation and invention, and executed to be able to scale across different locations and contexts. But as I mentioned earlier, we also work with Amazon Web Services customers on their own customer-centric business challenges. How might we ensure Domino's delivers every pizza to their customers within their 30-minute promise every time? How might we make the F1 fan experience more thrilling and more competitive racing? How might we help Qantas reduce the flying time, weather disruption, and fuel consumption on any particular flight or all of the given fleet? These were all ideal working backwards project candidates and ensured a marriage of fantastic customer outcome and well-executed technology and business practices. I'll finish with a key mindset to take into the working backwards mechanism. First, be really stubborn on your expectation and ambition for your vision. Don't dilute it to something that only iterates on today's ideas. Be really bold. And be flexible on the details. Use experimentation around a module or a slice of your vision to edge forward at speed along the path of refinement of your idea. With experimentation, be open and honest about failure. See it as a chance to learn, to pivot, to rule out the wrong way to solve a problem. Move on quickly and leverage some of the solutions that may have been discarded along the way for other projects. The Fire Phone was a very public failure for us, but it's one of many ideas that didn't work, but have taught us very valuable lessons and allowed us to leverage the technology elsewhere. It's just a byproduct of an experimentation culture. Press releases are designed to generate conversation. The first draft is never even close to perfect, but it allows the team to have a starting point. With every iteration and review, the document becomes clearer and the idea stronger. At Amazon, documents like the PRFAQ help us discuss, debate, ask questions, and challenge each other. We feel that this is part of the strength in our process. We use our collective energy to create even better solutions for the customer. This is the true purpose of the Working Backwards document. Working backwards at Amazon is reflective of our broader culture of innovation, and you can build and nurture your own unique and powerful culture of innovation in your organisation as well. But first, let's identify the challenges we see many organisations currently face. The current wave of enterprise customers adopting cloud today recognise that they must implement changes but face cost overruns, security breaches, threats from digital native competition, and a lack of people with the relevant skill sets, amongst other challenges. These challenges prevent organisations from reinventing and realising the benefits they were promised. Many enterprises fail to realise their full potential through reinvention because there's a misconception that digital transformation is just a technology problem. To the contrary, research and experience reveal that enterprises must prioritise their people and their culture if they wish to compete in the new economy and fend off digital natives. So here are the 4 areas we think most organisations should build strength in to create connection and loyalty with customers. Enterprises with leadership that align the organisation to a shared vision, focus on people and culture, implement new operating models and become data-driven are far more likely to succeed in their reinvention efforts. AWS works backward from the customer's chosen outcomes to provide guidance, solutions, programs and services that enable enterprises to successfully reinvent. And AWS is here to start you on your customer-centric transformation journey. We can help you define your vision, use mechanisms like working backwards to create irresistible customer experiences, and transform your culture and capabilities for the future. So I encourage you to scan one or both of the QR codes on the screen to get started with your cloud skills training and certification as well. Thank you so much for listening. We look forward to introducing you to the working backwards mechanisms in workshops that we can run for you and your teams, and we really value your feedback to help us improve these sessions, so please share your out of 5 rating with us. Thank you.